Judge J. Lee Marsh recently struck down the congressional maps that were approved by the legislature and were pushed by Governor Ron DeSantis because he indicated they violated the Florida state constitution. I've had the opportunity to travel the district, have some roundtable discussions and interviews, as well as many out-of-office experiences. That and much more on this week's edition of the Powell Press. We had an opportunity and a chance to attend and tour the main courthouse, the historic courthouse, to see some of the historic exhibits, some of Palm Beach County's most priceless history, and objects that have been saved over time. These artifacts were a wonderful opportunity to see what we've done throughout the history of Palm Beach County and how this county has continued to grow and where it came from. On September 11th, we honored our heroes who died in those terrible and tragic terrorist attacks. We paid tribute to them. For those, the victims and the heroes that we lost, we take our time, we pay homage, and we really recognize the sacrifice that so many people have made and where we are today after that tremendously horrible attack. Most of us can remember exactly where we were on the day that happened. Me personally, I was sitting in a classroom at Florida A&M University back in 2001. And it's something that many of us will never forget. Also on that day, we had the opportunity to have a roundtable discussion at the city of West Palm Beach hosted by Mayor Keith James. He included on that panel myself, State Representative Mike Caruso, County Commissioner Mac Bernard, individuals from Citizens Property Insurance, as well as other stakeholders to discuss the rising cost of insurance here in the state of Florida. Mayor Keith James, I want to thank you for bringing all of us together to have a seat at the table. This was a nonpartisan group of people who were speaking to look at comprehensive changes and comprehensive choices to fix the insurance crisis here in the state of Florida. Would we do that in a short amount of time? Not really, but the conversation has been started, and we want to thank Mayor Keith James and the city of West Palm Beach for hosting us. On September 18th, we rounded out our legislative updates. It was the last update of the year for our municipalities. Yes, I have done a legislative update for every single town or municipality or village that I represent. And we closed it out with Manalapan. It was myself, along with my colleagues and my staff, giving a legislative update to Manalapan to let them know some of the things that happened in the most recent legislative session. At the top of their list of priorities, they wanted to talk about the new Form 6 requirements that really require everyone who's a local elected official to disclose all of your assets to public on a form. Now that was a big challenge, but we had an opportunity to discuss that and much more in the town of Manalapan. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with State Representative Rick Roth, reporters Todd McDermott and Nathalie Poso to discuss property insurance. Of course, we had a roundtable with the mayor, but this was an opportunity to reach all of the viewers of WPBF News Channel 25 to discuss the rising cost of property insurance here in the state of Florida and what we did in Tallahassee during the special session, which wasn't much, and what we can do in the upcoming legislative session 2024 to deal with this issue. To me, property insurance is the number one issue that we have to deal with. Of course, Democrats and Republicans differ on how to resolve this issue, but the only way that we're going to solve this issue is that everyone comes to the table and we have a comprehensive strategy that includes the stakeholders, the Democrats, the Republicans, the insurance industry, attorneys, and the people. That's you. If we can all get together, we can solve this crisis because there's nothing too big for us if we work together. We are stronger together. On Friday, September 22nd, I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. It was the annual legislative conference, the 52nd annual legislative conference for the Congressional Black Caucus. What a week weekend of panel discussions, opportunities to meet with legislative leaders, as well as professionals in the entertainment industry, as well as upwardly bound individuals who were in Washington, D.C. to figure out how to move forward with some of the issues that are facing us here in the United States. The Congressional Black Caucus week, or the annual legislative conference, was a conference filled with information and an opportunity for professional growth. I was so excited to join you all at the conference, or join the ones who had gone there, and I'm looking forward to attending again in the future. What an important week it was when we had a Black History Museum Task Force meeting on September 25th. We selected the chairperson for the meeting, and we started to outline and discuss what we're looking for in terms of a Black History Museum. It's my understanding that we're looking for a comprehensive museum that includes Black history, migrant history, the history of African American people here in the state of Florida, the history of natives to the state of Florida and Spanish Florida when it comes to history here, as well as looking at a museum as a way to be sustainable with performing arts exhibits and a very, very large theater system that would allow this system, or would allow this museum, to be functional for the future. I'm so excited that we chose our chair, who is Senator Geraldine Thompson, my colleague in the Senate, and we were joined by other members of this task force. We've got a wonderful working job ahead of us, but I'm excited, as well as the members of the task force are excited for this new potential museum here in the state of Florida. We also had an opportunity to attend the Palm Beach County League of Cities meeting. This League of Cities meeting for the month was held at the Lake Pavilion, which is West Palm Beach's beautiful glass building located right off of Flagler Drive. The Mayor, Keith James, was in the building, as well as all of the local municipal officials who helped to keep the league in front of us. Now, we know that as we prepare to go to legislative session, the League of Cities is preparing its agenda for us as legislators to know what is in store and how to work together to keep this state moving forward. Now let's talk about these congressional maps. Of course, as I indicated, Judge J. Lee Marsh struck down Governor DeSantis' proposed map that we passed in the legislature during a special session. I say we because I'm a member of the body. However, this map was voted on party lines. All Democrats voted against that map, and many of the Republicans, if not all of the Republicans, voted for the map. Now, this is a congressional map. The legislature has the charge of drawing House maps, Senate maps, and the congressional map. The congressional map is the only map that can be vetoed by the governor because it passes as a bill. The House and Senate maps, which govern the state legislature, are passed as joint resolutions and are approved by the courts. The congressional map passes as a bill because it deals with Congress and can be vetoed by the governor, which is what we saw for the first time in the history of the state of Florida. Now, the original map that was passed by the legislature was drawn by the legislature, and it kind of showed where it was supposed to be a nonpartisan map, but of the 28 seats that are here in the state of Florida, we gained one congressional seat during the last redistricting period. 16 of those seats did lean Republican, while 12 leaned Democrat. Well, the governor redrew the map, eliminating Black representation in northern Florida, the seat that was actually held by Al Lawson, but it was Black representation that stretched from Jacksonville to Tallahassee. That seat was eliminated with the governor's map, along with the shift in the map, which created 20 of the 28 seats leaning Republican and the remaining 8 leaning Democrat. This was voted or shown and struck down as unconstitutional. It has been appealed by the state Secretary of State Court Byrd and is currently back in the courts under appeal to see what happens. We'll see what happens as it plays itself out, but this just shows you that although sometimes things look bleak when you see what's happening in politics, the courts should always serve as a backstop. The courts should be independent when it comes to legislation as well as laws that are passed here in the state of Florida. Listen, everyone, my opinion is we have to make sure that we're fair and we do what's right. With that being said, I'm reminding you that a life of service is indeed a life that counts. Thank you for joining. Please like, share, comment. I want to thank you all for making sure that we're well over 100 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000, so we need you to like and subscribe today. But you can join us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, or formerly known as Twitter, and all other forms of social media, including Instagram, and follow us as we continue to give you the information that supports you here in District 24. I am State Senator Bobby Powell signing off for Malcolm Summons, Diane Andre, and Michelle DeMarco. We'll see you real soon on the next edition of the Powell Press.